Hello, everybody. It's your boy Justin with another Manhwa review. For people who don't know, Manhwa is South Korean manga or comic books. Today we're reviewing Volume 7 of Ragnarok by Myung-Jin Lee, if that's how you pronounce his name. Or is it Lee Myung-Jin? I can't. I have no idea. It's one of the two. So, this takes place right after the fight between um, what was her name? Sorry, Iris and Fenris versus Bijou, which is Helmus the Helmels. I can't pronounce these Nordic names. Who's like underling of Helmus the Valkyrie, who's like a necromancer. They're fighting her and they're getting their asses kicked, and who comes in to save them? Sarah Irving betrays Bijou and Helmless, and you have like a long fight with Balder versus a resurrected Matthew that Helmless resurrected to defend her, which it turns out she had snuck by Phaon after the massacre by Sarah Irving the Valkyrie and stole all the souls of Phaon. And that's how she was able to get Matthew's body, right? So you have like a flashback where it goes into Chaos' relationship with Matthew and how they were best friends and they made promises together. Eventually, Chaos wises up and defeats Matthew, fights Helmez, gets his ass kicked, gets help by Loki. Turns out Loki isn't even strong enough to defeat Helmez, and they both get saved by Sarah Irving, who also betrays Helmez, kills them, and takes off with the heart of Ymir, and that's basically the volume right there, which only took me 2 minutes to describe, but like it took me like all day to read. Yeah, so I don't know. I really enjoyed this volume because all the action that was going on. You had some cool art. My problem is that you had like this Deus Ex Machina, where I don't know if you would call it Deus Ex Machina, where basically one of the villains just decided on a whim to betray her allies, which she never. They did set up that she didn't like them in the first place, but sorry, I had a hair in my mouth. I'm still not a fan of our characters being saved by one of the bad guys. Okay, especially could they have not pulled off I would rather them have pulled off a Deus Ex Machina by our characters to save themselves than what happened here, where they get saved by one of the bad guys who saved them for no reason other than she wants to defeat them, defeat them later on, right? Which I thought was, like I mentioned, not a fan of that. I don't know but before that happened, you had some solid action. The art is still spot on, amazing art, cool character designs. Not a fan. What was I not a fan of? That there's like a scene where they showed a flashback between Helmez and Bijou when they were kids. That they had a friendship, and they wanted you to feel bad for Bijou and Helmez dying, which these are the villains. And they even show a scene where Helmez, Bijou turns into a Valkyrie and brings Helmez's soul to Valhalla. It's like, what the fuck? Isn't Helmez a Valkyrie already? Yeah, not a fan of the villains going to heaven, right? But whatever, right? The Valkyries and the gods themselves are the bad guys for this series, specifically Freya. But yeah, so I don't know. if I were to give this a rating, I would probably give it a 6.5. It was good up until the end, which I'm not one of those assholes who like just because the ending for something was bad, I'm just gonna trash the whole thing. It's like retards. Have you never heard the saying? It's not about the destination. It's about the journey, right? Like it's like the same people like bash like Naruto and like pick your favorite HBO show. Has there ever been an HBO show that had a good ending? It's like Jesus, like Oz had a terrible ending. Game of Thrones had a terrible ending. Um, Sopranos had a terrible ending. Though I would argue the HBO still sucks because like half the show was terrible, right? Just because that's one of those shows where like yeah, it's still just because the like it started off good and there was some good seasons along the way. Most of the show, in my opinion, sucked. Okay, like after episode season 5, I even stopped watching the show. So to hear that the last couple of seasons sucked and people hated it, it's funny to me because like I would watch reviews where people were like would trash everything that happened in an episode and would still give it like 8 out of 10. And it's like, what the fuck? are you are you smoking crack? Like, in what universe is an 8 out of 10 like a bad rating? Like, yeah. So I don't know. So we only have 3 more volumes, 8, 9, and 10, and then this Manhwa series is over. And after that, I'm gonna suggest some Manhwa series for us to continue to review after we finish this one, like Priest, Blade of the Phantom Master, maybe Red Storm. But there's this one that I read about like a year or two ago that was supposed to be a really good Manhwa series from the like late 90s. I can't remember what it's called, but it was like a historical supernatural fantasy series that was banned for years in South Korea, but it was like it was unbanned, and it sounded like really cool, but I can't fucking remember the name, and I can't find it online. I'm literally checking like my animes list for every fucking Manhwa series ever just to try to find it. So hopefully, if we find it, I'll put that in the list, and we'll see which Manhwa series we'll review after we finish Ragnarok. Alright guys, peace. It was a 6.5 out of 10, by the way. I can't remember if I said that. Alright.